Hi, Jackie.
Hey, how
I'm
you doing?
Ryan.
Ryan, nice to meet you.
Nice to
Jackie.
meet you too. Thank you for agreeing to sign a non-binding letter of intent to locate in Northview Mall. We respect Summit and their continuous success since the 1940s, and this is going to be our biggest project yet. And Summit is our primary option. And just right away, just throw it out there. I just want to let you know that we are also talking to Bayside, but like I said before, we would much rather make a deal with Summit.
Okay. Yeah, we've loved what you guys have been doing over at Wright, and your success with the Boston and the Strip Center in Waltham have been great, and we're hoping that we can kind of work together to come to an agreement and get us located as the anchor tenant in the new Northview Mall. I just have a quick question for you guys. So I think we both stand a lot from Summit being an anchor tenant. And I was actually, Liz Fleming, the director of corporate marketing, she brought it to attention that she was negotiating with your boss from Wright, and she said that they were able to agree on everything except for the Article 22
Yes.
that we have in our leasing agreements.
Yeah, I understand that they met, they got reached agreement on many things with the lease being 30 years,
Sure.
amongst many other things. They just had one problem with Article 22. That's what my boss John told me. So
Okay.
to start, what are some of your interests, just to throw out there right off the bat?
Sure. So can we agree on that we'll kind of keep things just to Article 22? We'll just,
Yeah, just
and
Article
agreeing
22.
that, so that for our Article 22, just so you know, I'm sure you're already informed, but we'll be talking about our use, assignment, and then subletting,
Yes.
if that's what you're understanding. Okay. And as far as our interests go, I kind of want to throw it out there first, just to be upfront with you. You seem like a great guy. I just want to let you know that so we did sign into your 30-year lease. We're excited to get going with Northview Mall. The white collar area, I think, will be perfect for our kind of upscale brand. I think that our biggest thing is that we want to make sure that we can have, ability to change with different market dynamics. So if down the road, Northview Mall, if the foot traffic isn't there, if there's some other issues with the mall, we kind of want the ability to change. So that might have to go with kind of our assignment issues, which you guys or understood that we kind of came to a stalemate on that and aren't able to kind of push through. But our big thing is that we just want to be able to keep up with market conditions and be able to kind of have some flexibility there. So I know we're in the 30-year lease, but we're hoping that we can kind of maybe figure some things out that might help us.
Yeah, we understand that you are interested, and there are many other different aspects within Article 22 that today we'll dive a little bit deeper in that John and Liz weren't able to really get into in their meeting. But obviously, we from Wright on our end of the spectrum, we're very interested in having Summit there, right there, being very successful for 30 years straight and continuing their high quality service, high quality character within the white collar neighborhood. That's kind of what they expect around here in Northview.
Okay.
And not even just with Summit and with other stores that we could sublet and just basically just how you use the area. And it is in our best interest to keep you there and for 30 years because if we just develop that strong relationship, keep you there for that long, and I feel like that would be the best of both of our interests.
Okay. Yep. Just kind of talking a little bit more about our assignment rights. So normally it isn't our policy at all to change Article 22, and I'm really hoping that you guys can kind of see what we're going for there. So we really just need to have that flexibility in order to operate. So just kind of I just want to let you know if we can't kind of reach favorable terms. It might be something where we might have to find a different mall. So I'm hoping that we can still do business and be an anchor tenant because I think it represents an opportunity for the both of us. But I'm hoping that as company policy, and actually my boss, Liz Fleming, she always makes sure that we don't deviate too much from our standard Article 22. So I'm hoping that we can kind of find something that is close to our Article 22.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So, so you still, where would you sit as of right now with in terms of the assignment?
Yeah, so we would like to be able to assign the entire space to anybody else if the market demands for it. So if say in 10 years, 15 years down the road, we aren't seeing the corrective sales, or maybe the corporate headquarters sees an issue that is affecting our stores, we would just like the ability to be able to pretty much get out of our lease and be able to assign to somebody else. maybe, I mean, I think traditionally we've done it where we've assigned it to other retailers, kind of similar to us, but we've also assigned it to some other corporate headquarters, like a GE corporate headquarters there. So we have been able to have that flexibility with other malls and other stores. So that's definitely something that we hold close to ourselves, and we're hoping that we can find an agreement on something like that.
All right. Well, we can't really let you have the power to transfer to whenever you like to whoever you like. It's really not in their best interest, like I stated before. We do want to continue with the same character and high quality style that Summit brings to the mall. So we would like the power to, if you were to, I understand that we probably wouldn't be able to agree with you being there for 30 years straight. I understand that's more on my side. So eventually, if you were to choose to release and give it to someone else, we would like to have full say in that.
Okay.
And like I said, we're like a place like General Electric wouldn't really keep up. It's not really similar to the style and character that Summit brings to the mall.
Okay.
So,
So do you think we could take a quick pause? Sorry to cut you off
Yeah, that's
there.
fine.
Do you think you could tell me a little bit more about your interests as the developer?
Yeah.
So what are you looking for, like in an anchor tenant then?
Yeah. Well, like I said, like what I was just talking about the assignment, just someone there for 30 years, keeping up with the same character, and just in terms of use, basically the same thing as assignment, just that we want to keep up the pace with the high quality stores and the same character, same style. And with the assignment, we, like I said before, we don't really it's not in our best interest to have a store like GE there. We kind of want something very similar, like a Neiman Marcus, possibly.
Okay.
And also, I understand you tend to sublet a lot of stores. I know this is a part of it. So if we were to give you some short-term leases, we would like to have some stores that obviously like make sense to be in there, like kind of like a Chanel and Macy's or anything like that. So. It's just really in our best interest to have
Okay.
it.
So it's my understanding then that you guys want to make sure you keep the same character of the mall over
Yes.
the life of our tenancy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we kind of just want to have like the subletters like sort of fit in
Sure.
and be similar to high-end department stores such as Summit.
Sure. So with that being said then, for the assignment, I know that you guys when Liz was talking over it with Mr. Wright, I believe that we would have no say in any type of assignment for Northview.
Yes.
Okay. Over the 30-year lease.
Over the 30 years, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. See, I just really don't think that's going to work for us over here at Summit. That's just really not what we're accustomed to, and we have to be able to, keep up with the market conditions because, I mean, I think it would be a worst case scenario for both of us if we're stuck in there and we're, a money drain and we're not making any money. I think that would also hurt the foot traffic. So, I mean, if we look at Sears, for example, I mean, if Sears was to lock in a lease with you guys 30 years ago, and look what's happened to them now with Amazon. I mean, market conditions, you really can't predict that too far out into the future.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just don't believe that we'd be able to kind of find an agreement on that with those strict guidelines. We need to have some type of flexibility.
All right. So where would you like to start with that?
Okay.
Assignment? What would be?
So I think maybe if we could have trying to come up with something that would maybe could you guys do where we have strict assignment for we can't assign it to anybody else for 5 years, and then the rest of the time we can have it we can assign it to anybody we want.
Without our consent?
Yeah, we would still have it, but after 5 years of the 30-year lease, we can assign it to anyone. Yeah.
See, out of the 30 years that we do want you there, that's definitely not something we can do with that. Honestly, like 5 years is just definitely can't happen.
Okay.
We're thinking more something in around like closer to 30 ideally, but since you're already saying that that's not going to work out at all, like maybe something more towards like 25 years. And for the next 5 years, we still want to stay. So if you were to leave the area, we would want like kind of like the final say in where you like what store takes the space.
Yeah, I really don't see. I think Liz would be pissed at me if I came back saying that we don't have any control of who would be able to come in after us as far as our assignment rights go.
Well, you would still have a say. It's just that we would have the final say. So you did say before that you do lease it out, you do give it to other similar department stores.
Yep.
So you would, if you were to, if it was in your best interest to have, say, Neiman Marcus come in, we could eventually give it to them. We could agree to that. And that is still your say. And we would obviously be, if you're there for 25 years and develop a strong relationship, we would still be able to cooperate together well. We wouldn't just kind of backstab you.
You know, we do have a lot of issues to talk about for Article 22. I feel like we're kind of at two polar ends right now. Do you think we can kind of move on to a different topic and revisit this then?
Yeah, sure. If you want to do that, we can go back to that later on and see what we can get.
Yeah, maybe so. We also have use and subletting to talk about. So, do you mind talking a little bit about use?
It's very similar to assignment. It's just basically it's just that within the stores and around Summit in the mall, we would want very similar stores around there.
Okay.
We wouldn't want anything like out of the ordinary, out of like not a high quality
Sure.
store. Not anything like just selling like anything like vapes or anything like that. We don't want anything that's like
Sure.
deviates too far from
The character.
from the character.
Okay. And it's my understanding that you guys have had some strong interest from a bunch of satellite tenants,
Yes.
and and I believe too that the satellite tenants might come if an anchor store like us comes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to ask you in particular about your relationship with Legal Seafoods. Can you tell me a little bit about that? So maybe you could tell me a little bit more about the relationship with Legal Seafoods.
Yeah. Well, we've had a very strong relationship with Legal Seafoods over the past few years, and we were interested in bringing them on board to have a place in this in Northview Mall. We are interested in having a fresh seafood restaurant in this mall.
Okay.
That's definitely something in our interest with Legal Seafoods, and since we do have a relationship with them, we figured why not include them as a satellite tenant. But
Sure.
I'm just interested, like, why did you ask them specifically out of all of these? So why didn't you ask like Apple Store or like Williams Sonoma?
Sure. That's a very valid question. So actually, this was just brought to my attention from Liz Fleming, and she actually was explained to me how we have a relationship with, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but Union Oyster House.
Oh, yeah.
So they're an upscale seafood restaurant in Boston, and they've actually expressed interest in not only expanding into the greater Boston area, but more so specifically wanting to be in Northview Mall and actually wanting to be within our Summit store. So they really they think that their restaurant would align well with the clientele that visits Summit with the high-end goods, and then also they think the area around Northview, with the white-collar jobs being closely linked to the healthcare industry, they think that that the foot traffic could pick up for Legal Seafood. So I think the reason I asked that was because we do have this relationship, and I wanted to bring this to your attention that I think it could be an advantageous for both of us if you're already looking at a satellite like Legal Seafoods to maybe explore the option of getting Union Oyster House, and we could actually work on that. We could bring them in on behalf of us to honestly help you. And with that being said, I think Union Oyster House, because it is so popular, I think having like a staple like that in your mall would definitely drive foot traffic for other stores around and around Summit. So I think, what do you think about that?
I mean, Legal Seafoods is already fairly well known as well,
Okay.
and we do already have a great relationship with them. So we would feel that comfortable telling them that. I assume if there's a Union Oyster House, we can't really have a Legal Seafoods there.
Sure.
Either.
Yeah, and that was actually another thing I was hoping we could discuss. If we were to have a Legal Seafoods, or excuse me, a Union Oyster House, we would ask if maybe as a developer that you could stray away from other seafood restaurants just as an option with Union.
Yeah. I mean, we can pop on this a little bit more later because like we do, like I said, we do have a strong relationship with Legal Seafoods. It would be
Okay.
not a great look for us to kind of tell them to kind of leave because we have another seafood restaurant that we'd be interested
Sure.
in. But well, maybe talk a little more about use. What about like stores like around there? Like we are interested in, we would much rather have if you do have the Union Oyster House there, we would rather have stores around you that are like very like adjacent, that are adjacent to you, very close to you, that are like very similar to the type of business you guys carry.
Okay.
So, what were you
Yeah.
thinking
So
about that?
as on behalf of Summit, we really like a lot of these satellite tenants that you were able to gauge some interest from. But it's my understanding that in order for all of these satellite tenants to come, they are going to have to be enticed by you guys bringing in a type of anchor, like Summit, correct?
Yeah.
So I think this is kind of like it could be a win-win for both of us. Personally, and for Summit, we would actually like to have input on the stores that are around us and that border us and are adjacent to us. So we were hoping actually kind of the opposite, that we could have stores like an Apple or a Tesla that won't sell similar products, but it'll also help drive the foot traffic for the general area. Because you figure if we were able to get a Union Oyster House in, having a store like Tesla or a store like Apple right next to our store could help and present a lot of foot traffic and get people into those stores that normally wouldn't be hiking over from the other side of the mall.
Yeah, I understand that. I do like the high end stores such as like Apple and Tesla and near that. So I do like that idea. So, um, but given that Union Oyster House is still a little bit on the edge with, so if we were to do that for you and give you most of the say about stores around you, then you might have to bend a little bit more with the assignment
Okay.
if you want to head back to that a little bit because I feel like that we are doing you a favor
Sure.
by letting you bring in Union Oyster House and have a say around the use.
Okay.
So just since we're on completely different ends of the spectrum on assignment, I feel like
I
that's
think
something
I
that we
think that if you guys could be open to the possibility of bringing in Union Oyster House and then kind of adhering to some of our concerns about the stores around us, that we could definitely try to reach an agreement on assignment that might be closer to your guidelines. So do you want to present me with something for assignment
for
then?
some, yeah. Um, so how about we have you there for say 22 years or so. You're locked in there for 22 years, and then after that, we after that from year 23 through 30. How about um, how about we both have it? We both collaborate on it. If you want to leave after the 22nd year,
Okay.
we both collaborate over any like stores to go in. And obviously, we're gonna want. You already know we want to store like some of yours, so
Um,
we're
22 years is still kind of a long time for us to operate, for us to do that. Let me just think this over for a
we're
second. How, so you said earlier that your main concern was to keep the character of the mall, correct?
yes.
So, that being said, would you be open to, I know you did mention this, but if we were, does it really matter if down 15 years down the line, if we see it as an opportunity that we may want to leave, that if we were to be able to find a store like Neiman Marcus to come in, who is essentially going to be selling a lot of the similar products, so would there be any way that you'd be able maybe to come down closer to 15 years, and then during that 15 year, we'd only be able to assign it or lease it to someone that operates similar to us, so, someone that's going to have a similar credit history, similar product lines, and operating lines.
So the first 15 years you guys are locked in, and then the next 15 years you guys have the full right to.
We have the ability to assign it to somebody else, but based on only being able to assign it to a similar operator.
Okay. So but we still have no say in that.
As far as the similar operator, yeah. So we would be able to bring in someone, but I guess you guys would have to approve that it is a similar operator.
I mean, I feel like we are nearing something. If you want to, we want to start like writing a little bit like on the board, just kind of like have it
Yeah,
all.
why don't we use the boards
Like
to
write it
brainstorm?
everything
Yeah.
thrown out.
Okay, so hopefully we can reach an agreement with as far as the Oyster House to definitely bring them. I think that would represent a good business opportunity for both of us.
Yeah.
So all right. So thank you, Ryan, for helping me write some of these on the board. So if we can really get this Union Oyster House put into the Summit store, like I said earlier, we really don't want legal seafoods there to affect the competition for the seafood market. So we would be hoping that you guys could sever ties with legal seafoods. And in exchange, we will be able to be a little bit more lenient with our assignment, which is we're making a special exception for you guys with just this great opportunity we have.
Okay.
So how does it sound if we have 15 years where we have strict assignment, but then in that year 15, we'll be allowed to assign it to the similar operator because you guys did say that you want to keep the same character and style of the mall.
Yeah, I mean, it does look fairly decent. There is definitely some stuff I want to change, but I'm willing to agree to this, even though I did say that kind of parting our ways with legal seafoods isn't in our best interest. But you did make a strong case for Union Oyster House, and I feel like that would be a good idea to include in our mall.
Okay.
So given that, I feel like you're going to have to be a little more flexible with the assignment. We're fine with the 15 years with a strict assignment. I feel like that's a good medium between the 0 and 30. But after year 15, where we can't let you be all on your own, even though you're assigned to a similar operator, we still do want to have a say. So what about after year 15, until 30, we have a say, and who you guys replace it with? If you want.
I mean, if it's really you guys keeping the character of the mall, I mean, shouldn't it not matter if it's a similar operator with the same credit history that we'd be able to find for you?
It's true, but in the end, we still want some sort of control over this, and we can't just leave it all completely in your hands for half of the lease. So
and it's just like you see where we're coming from. We just want to be able to keep up with the market conditions.
Yeah, I understand that.
All right, how about if I propose this? So how about we say after year 20, you guys have the right to take away the space. So you guys essentially have the power. If you don't like the assignee that we accept, so we would have, I guess, 5 years of free reign to find a similar operator. But say we bring in a similar operator, and then in year 20 that you guys don't like them, then in that year 20, you guys would have the right to take back the rental space.
So from year 20 to 30, we have a right to just take back the rental space from you.
Yeah.
So we would have veto power over who the operator is.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's something we could agree on. That does sound fair.
Okay.
So
do you think we could agree on this issue?
We could agree on that if you want to start talking about subletting and depending on how we do with subletting, we just might get changed a little bit. But if you want to just at least start talking about the subletting.
And actually, this is from Liz too. We have to make sure that we're compensated for closing costs. The Liz just really made sure. So like, if you guys still want to, if you guys find a new person to assign it after year 20, for us to move out of the space, we would need you guys to cover some of the closing costs.
Sorry, it would still be the same
deal, but we
would have to compensate you.
Yeah.
I feel like that wouldn't be that bad. I feel like it's still within the realm of an agreement that John Wright would like. So it is still depending on subletting. So it isn't set in stone. Really. So
all right. So I think we have a good basis right now.
Yes.
So let's move closer to expanding. Maybe. Actually, I have another question for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you guys intend to expand the mall?
Yeah, we definitely do intend to expand the mall. Just like keep on going on with the interest that I told you from the beginning. I still want to expand it relative to the character that you bring to the mall. So normally we can sublet about like 5 to 25% of the area. So since we are already giving you Union Oyster House, I feel like 5%, subletting about 5% of the area would be fair.
Okay. So I know
Given
that
all the
does.
incentives.
I have market statistics here that say most stores for rent development would be able to sublet anywhere from 5 to 25% of the store capacity.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is true.
Okay.
But like I said, we're already giving you Union Oyster House, and that's pretty big land.
Sure. Sure.
So that's why I think more so like around 5% would be
Okay.
a fair agreement given that.
Okay. Do you think if, I know your guys' big thing is really, I mean, I'm hoping that we can be the first anchor tenant for you guys, that we can both flourish.
Okay.
So I know that you guys mentioned earlier that you really want to keep the character of the mall the same.
Correct.
So how about if you guys were able to come up a little bit on the percentage that we could sublet of our space if the character of the use was maintained? So we wouldn't have we would agree to no construction. We wouldn't do any separate door entries. If we were to sublet space, we would have companies that would help fit with the character of the mall, but also would be within our department store. So it would be a section. So I don't know if you've ever been to Macy's.
Yeah.
Macy's having like a Chanel station within Macy's. So I think that could be something that would be favorable to you guys as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that we are interested in, keeping the character of the mall it's consistent throughout. We still would like to have a say, obviously, in like what stores are being sublet into, like what sublet tenants they are.
Okay.
We still are firm on the 5% out of instead of closer to 25.
Okay.
Which I feel like was kind of outrageous considering if we were to give you the Union Oyster House already.
Okay.
Well, also, since you are like such a big store, would you be able to finance this whole mall? Because then maybe we could negotiate a little bit more on the subletting and other parts of these. But would you be able to finance it?
Yikes. I don't really know about that. You want us to finance the entire mall as a retailer?
Yeah, if you are a big store, so I feel like that you would be able to finance the entire store. But
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, Ryan, I respect our relationship, but I think that might just be asking too much of Summit. We're a retailer, we're not a
Okay.
financer, so that's definitely kind of out of our strong suit. So we definitely would not be able to finance it.
oh yeah, that's fine. I mean, we just have to resort to NTI, Northview Trust and Insurance, for financing. So
Okay.
if we were to use them, then we'd have to kind of tend to their needs. I hope you
Okay.
understand that.
Yeah, so I would like to look over the needs before, of course, but
Yeah.
I think we definitely are not in the deal with in the financing space.
Okay. All right.
All right, at least we have that covered.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe going back to subletting. So I mean, to keep up with these market conditions, obviously we would like to be able to kind of diversify some of our risk and be able to bring in stores that will help our brand, but also help the overall mall. And so you're saying 5%, and then you guys would have a say over who comes.
Yes.
That I think that figure is just pretty low for us. How about if we figure something out like you guys would be able to have say over who we can sublet to, but I'm gonna need somewhere closer to like 15% of the space.
I still don't think anything really deep in the double digits at all would work for us, to be honest. Because if you think about it with the Union Oyster House, we don't really want something more on the higher end, like higher end of like in terms of percentages. Because if we do have that plus 15%, like that's just adding on to it, and that's definitely not in the best interest. So I feel like something more towards like 7% would be definitely nowhere near like 15%.
So I did still want to get to the fact of what would happen in the case of expanding the mall. So how about this? If you could give us 10%, and then maybe we we would allow you to have discretion to approve any of these subletters that we bring in. But if the subletter is consistent with the character of our company and of you guys, that it would be, some type of easy acceptance for us to go through. It wouldn't be too tasking.
Okay.
So maybe, for example, like if we do have a lot of high-end clothes and shoes. So if we were to bring in like a Cole Haan shoes,
Yeah.
Would that be something that you guys would accept just because it's, a similar product and it would help, I guess, both of us? For the 10%?
Yeah, for the
You think we
10%, as long as you're agreeing to kind of keep that character consistent. And
All right, so we got that.
I feel like we could settle at 10%. Not really. I don't feel like I can go much higher than that at all.
Okay. All right, so because I am giving you a lot of that 10%, I really have some concerns with what would happen. I know we are locked in for 30 years, being the staple store, the anchor store.
Yeah.
What would happen, if you guys expand? We from Summit, it's kind of customary with other malls that we kind of have input on any expansion projects in malls that we are the anchor. So because we're giving you guys the go ahead with what we can do with some of our space at the 10% clip, we're going to need to have an input or at least a vote in some type of new stores that can go into the mall.
Yeah. Well,
do you think you could trade that off? Because I am coming down a lot. Market statistics here show that you can rent up to 25% of 150 square feet. So, do you guys think that you could just have us give some type of input? Because obviously we want the mall to flourish as well as you guys, because that helps with both of us. Do you think that we could we could reach an agreement on that?
Well, we still obviously do want to have a say in that. That's understandable. But they can still be approved by Summit, but we do expect you to actually agree if the tenant does keep the character of the store consistent. I think you understand that that's one of my best and highest interests.
Okay.
And so if there were to be a sublet tenant that is a prospect to be in the store, and it would keep the character and style consistent, we would expect you to accept them. And
Okay.
if you weren't, then that could kind of
we just want to have our voice heard because we are going to be here for hopefully 30 years.
Yeah.
That we would be able to give input on what goes in.
Okay. Well, can we just, because we changed this.
Yep.
So what was it in year 20?
Yes.
Was that the time?
Yep. All right, Ryan. So it was great that we were able to kind of brainstorm a lot of ideas together and kind of work out an agreement, a tentative agreement for now. So hopefully, I think that it really was tough for us to deviate away from Article 22. I just want to let you know this is a thing that we never, ever do. But we recognize the opportunity that Wright Development presents with the past projects you've had, and then with Northview Mall. I think this is going to be a space that could blow up for both of us. So how about I just run through what we kind of agreed upon so far, and we can hopefully reach an agreement that can work out for both of us.
Okay.
So for assignment, we did come down a little bit. So we've agreed strict assignment for Summit to operate in Northview Mall for 15 years with them unable to make any changes or assignments.
Yeah.
But then starting in year 15, Summit will be allowed to assign its lease only to a similar operator. So we recognize that it's important that our similar operator has a good credit history and a similar operating product line to keep the character of the mall. After year 20, Wright will be able to take back the rental space rather than accept the assignee presented, and you guys will have veto power and any say over any new store that can come in after year 20 on. Okay. But that is subject to compensation for closing costs that we might have to incur if that does happen. All right. So moving on to use, I think it's great. I think this is going to be advantageous for both of us. But we've agreed that Union Oyster House will operate within the Summit store in the mall. I think that this will help increase the foot traffic for both of us, for the mall and for the Summit store. And having the white collar clientele of the area, I think they're going to enjoy this upscale restaurant that's branching out from Boston. But because we are bringing this in, we have a great relationship with Union Oyster House, but we have agreed that Legal Seafoods will not be allowed as a satellite tenant, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
And then we also agreed that we will continue to keep our character and style the same of all the stores in its chain. So we know that you guys want to keep the same character of the mall. So we promise to not make any changes outside of our product line or what happens with our chains to help keep that integrity of the mall. And if the mall does expand, we've agreed that Summit, as the anchor tenant, has an input or a vote on what can go into the mall. Correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Is that everything for use?
Yeah, that's everything we have for use right now. Yeah.
Okay. So the deal we've made for subletting. So we will be allowed to sublet, but the character of the use must be maintained. So we've agreed that no new construction will happen, and that the subtenants will appear as and operate as departments within the department store, and there will be no separate entrances to enter into these. Similar to at Macy's, we've both been to Macy's where they have the Chanel section.
Yeah.
Okay. And in addition to us, we already were able to bring in Union Oyster House. We've agreed that we're only allowed to sublet 10% of the space, and that the tenants must be approved by Wright. But you guys are expected to agree if the subletting tenant keeps the character of the store consistent, correct? Mm-hmm. So if, for example, a Cole Haan shoes or Chanel fragrance shouldn't have any problem being brought into the store if it keeps with the integrity. Yeah. Okay. How does this sound to you as a final agreement?
That sounds all good to me. I feel like we are giving you a decent amount with the use. I do see your side with Union Oyster House with more foot traffic, and it's the fact that it's a high-end restaurant. We were interested in a seafood restaurant.
Okay.
Within our mall. I see your side with many other things, and I'm happy with, based on what else we got, I'm happy with the assignment that we got. So I don't know. I think everything looks good to me.
Okay. But I think there might be one last thing. We're going to need to have some type of input and veto power over the stores that are directly right next to us. So the stores that will border us and that are adjacent, we don't want having any competitors right next to us. We want to help our future business, especially 30 years down the line. So do you think we could have input and ultimate power over the stores that are directly right next to us?
Wright would like some input in that too. Maybe not necessarily veto power, but we would want to give at least our input.
Okay.
With that.
Normally we do have veto power, but definitely might be hard for we've come so far.
I mean, I do understand that you wouldn't want any competitors right next to you. I understand that it could take away from future business, so
okay.
It could be something that we do have a lot of input with other things, so it could be something we could, as we have come so far. So I think it could be something that we could kind of fall back on.
Okay. So how about do you think if we both had input on the stores that can go directly next to us, but then after maybe a certain amount of years we could have a veto power?
Yes.
Okay. What do you feel is a veto power that's fair?
After how many years?
Yeah. How about after 10 years that we could veto any stores that are directly around us?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay. All right. So we have input on the stores for the first 10 years, but then after that we have the ultimate say following.
Okay.
That.
All right. Yeah. After the 10 years, you have the ultimate say.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we will still be able to collaborate to find. And this is just for the stores that border us and are directly adjacent.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good to me.
All right. So I think we can agree on all these issues then.
Yeah. I can let John know.
Yeah, sure. I think Liz will be happy with the deal that we will come to.
John will be very happy, but very deal. I think he'll be satisfied with this agreement.
All right, great. Hey,
all right.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a pleasure. Have a good one.
You too.